Island, a mobile city of over 10,000 scientists!
What the hell do you think you're doing here?
The other girls are here, they just can't visit the preview.
Allow me to introduce you to one of my best friends, David Shields.
I remember the day I designed your first costume.
Actually, I'm quirkless.
She's just like I was. You want to be someone who helps heroes.
Right. That's how I'm going to make a real difference.
Hey, Emma.
Hey, Ari.
So, what did we do the other night?
The other night, we went and saw the My Hero Academia movie.
2 heroes.
It was so awesome.
It was surprisingly good. I cannot believe that movie was as good as it was.
I mean, it's Hiroaka, man. That is a higher standard of quality.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, well, right off the bat, what would you rate this movie?
Right off the bat, I would say that this is like a solid 8 out of 10.
Really? Okay, well, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I didn't think it was, like, good enough for an 8, but it was, like, a lot of fun, and I had a really good time with it, so I thought it was at least worth a 7.
Yeah, I just think the experience of having it in the theater bumped it up a little bit. If I watched it again, I'd probably give it a 7.
Yeah, like, I don't know. But, yeah, no, it was definitely, like, a lot of fun seeing this in theaters with a bunch of people, and, like, the whole theater-going experience, it isn't, like, your typical movie-going experience where you expect everyone to be quiet and respectful. It was just, you know, you're surrounded by a bunch of nerds who came here for one common thing and who are interested in one common thing, so the theater was just full of energy, and there was so many people laughing and cheering, and it was really loud, and people were quiet when it needed to be quiet. So it's definitely worth seeing in a dark theater full of people, even though by the time this podcast, not this podcast, but this time this comes out, it will probably be out of theaters because this movie did get 2 extra showings.
The theater was loud, but it wasn't disruptive. Like, it didn't tamper the movie because it pretty much had the energy of, like, a boxing match where everyone is just cheering on during the fights. But once it settled down, like, everyone was quiet for the plot and everything.
Yeah, there was so much cheering because people were cheering whenever, like, when All Might appeared on screen, and when we saw a lot of the characters from Class 1A, and then of course there was the Detroit Smashes, which got a ton of cheers every fucking time they used it, because, you know, Michigan. But anyway, to start off, I guess we should start off with the plot of this movie.
Yeah, so for this movie, I wouldn't say this is a movie that anyone can go into. I would say you need to watch the first 2 seasons before starting this movie, because it takes place between seasons 2 and 3. But pretty much it is inexplicably, like, every student ends up on this island that's like a theme park America thing.
But it's also like the hub of a lot of scientists developing new and improving hero technology.
So yeah, like, everyone ends up at this place. All Might got invited and brought Deku along, and it's the cutest fucking thing. And some villains hijack the main tower, and, you know, gotta save the day, oh boy.
Because, ew, evil, and we can, like, not get legally reprimanded because on this island we're actually allowed to use our fucking quirks because the scientist needs it so that they can improve tech for us. And on this island, there's a scientist named Dave and his daughter, Melissa. Dave and All Might go way back because All Might lived in America for a while, and they're both, like, you know, Dave is American or whatever, moved to Japan. And he's been working with All Might ever since they were, like, in college. And Deku meets his daughter, Melissa, and they end up hanging out, and Melissa ends up tagging along to help save the day from all these bad guys who took every fucking body hostage, including David and All Might, who's, like, slowly suffering because he has to stay swole and not go all Skeletor.
He can't go into his Skeletor mode, so he has to tough it out for, like, 3 hours, this poor boy.
And then he has to, like, keep fucking doing it for, like, the final fight. Like, oh god, I'm so happy this took place after season 2 and not before all that shit in season 3 happened.
Oh, fuck off, all for one. But Yeah, like he had to keep his swole mode just sitting there for like a couple of hours, and then immediately had to jump into the final fight. So this poor man, let him sleep.
Although this story is largely about, All Might and Dave's past and his daughter Melissa, this movie, of course, follows the students of Class 1A because we see Deku. And then all of a sudden, oh, hey, Uraka and Momo and Jiro, and then here's fucking Bakugo and Kaminari, and goddamn Todoroki, and Ida appears out of nowhere. And then we get fucking Denki and goddamn Mineta.
Like, here's the thing. So, the movie starts out by saying, like, All Might was specifically invited to this with a +1, because, he's the symbol of peace and all that.
And he brings Deku to meet his old friend.
Yeah, because he had a +1. And then the theater was screaming literally every time a character showed up. Not just because they enjoyed the character, but because how the fuck did they get there?
For many of these characters, they had an invite.
Here's the thing. The first few times it made sense. Momo had an invite because her parents were rich, and she brought Jiro and Uraraka.
Who won the +2s because they had a goddamn rock, paper, scissors tournament. Which was awesome.
That was cute. But Bakugo got in because he won at the sports festival. And
he invited Kaminari.
He brought Kirishima.
Kirishima, my bad.
For some reason, Kaminari and Mineta were working there. Ida was invited because his family's a thing. Todoroki went in place of Endeavor. All the main characters made sense. But then they would cut away and you saw like the other 3 girls that didn't get to go sitting in a hotel room.
Yeah, it is like no sense at all. That's like one of my biggest flaws of this movie, because you see some of the other kids and they're just reduced to cameos. Like goddamn Tokoyami is walking in the background with what's his name? The guy with the Sugar Rush quirk. And they do absolutely fuck all. They're just there to cameo. And I'm like, what the fuck? You have these very good girls and they're just sitting in a hotel room playing fucking Uno?
Here's the thing. I kind of get this because at least they put them in the movie, but they weren't really... They couldn't put that many people into such a small scenario of just scaling the tower. Like, already it was a little crowded having like 8 kids there. The more annoying part is that they had scenes specifically devoted to say, like, okay, Momo, Jiro, and Uraraka can go, but the other 3 can't, but they're there anyway!
Why's the fuck?
And then Tokoyami's there for no fucking reason. Like, it was so fucking funny, but so dumb.
What you said about scaling the tower, that's kind of like the big plot of this movie. The tower that David works in and that he and his family lives in along with other scientists, it's been taken over by a bunch of villains because they want like a piece of tech that nobody knows about, and they capture the pro heroes, shut down the island, and the kids are like, okay, how do we fix this? And Melissa says, we have to go to the top of the tower where the security system is, and I'll be able to, free everyone. So the entire movie is just everybody trying to scale the top of this tower, and they either get picked off one by one or they get held back. But there's like 8 people here, and one of them is just normal. She doesn't have a quirk at all. The writers do find very clever ways to, integrate these kids and give them something to do and use their powers. Like, even fucking Mineta, who is the worst fucking character in the show, he gets his own time to shine, and it's like both really funny and really fucking annoying because fuck Mineta. Goddamn Dick Laser should have been there in this place. Fuck him.
I know. But that's the thing. Every character had a reason to use their specific quirk to get there. So it's clear when they were writing the movie, they really just picked the characters that would be necessary to scale the tower and were popular enough to hold the movie as major characters. So, as sad as it is to have Tokoyami and Sue not be big parts in the movie, I understand why.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could have gotten rid of Mineta, because nobody fucking likes Mineta.
But at the same time, you needed him to actually scale the
did
outside.
need him.
No one else could have done that.
Use for him.
Literally, no one else in Class 1A could have done that. So of course they needed to put Mineta even in there, even though he's the fucking worst.
Yeah, and the fight scenes in this movie was also really great. I would say that this animation isn't scaled up from the TV show. It's pretty much on par with the show. but both of them are already a really super high quality. So if this movie looked worse than a show, I would have been pissed. But this was a pretty movie, and the fights were just as excellent as you expect them to be.
Yeah, for the sake of continuity, I'm glad that the animation quality wasn't just significantly upped. Even though it would have looked nice, it would have seemed kind of weird. But it's clear that any extra budget they got for this movie were clearly put into the final fight scene, which was just gorgeous.
Yeah, that was legit shit. The best goddamn fight scene we have gotten out of this show, period. It was, I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to be able to top a scene like that. Maybe in the next movie when they have a bigger budget. And if they like put even more work and effort into that movie, which this movie already had a lot of effort, which I want to touch upon. But yeah, no, the final fight scene in this movie, it is worth seeing this movie just for the final fight alone.
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is.
I just want to quickly talk about how this movie is actually fucking good for an anime original filler movie.
It is!
And that's fucking mind-blowing to me, because like months ago I said, oh, it's getting a movie, okay, that's typical, that's to be expected, because it's Hiro Aka, it's really popular, alright, it should be getting a movie, but I don't want to see it, because typically these movies fucking suck, because they have filler characters that nobody remembers, and the writing breaks the continuity. It's just not worth watching. And if you do watch it, it's because of one sole thing. Like maybe it's a fight scene, or maybe they go the FMA Conqueror Shambhala route, which concludes the original 2003 series. But most of the time, they're not fucking good.
They typically aren't, but with this one, just pretty much every issue is resolved, because I know you haven't gotten to this yet.
No, I haven't watched any more of season 3 after we saw the movie.
It's bonus of a bonus episode, so it doesn't really matter, but there is a bonus episode in the middle of the hero licensing arc, which is funny in its own right, but they do actually set up the plot for this movie inside that episode, so it actually helps with the continuity.
Yeah, by the way, the hero licensing arc is like the final arc of season 3, so that's like near the end of season 3.
That's the thing, it's not necessary to watch before watching the movie because nothing else from season 3 comes into play, but, like, you can watch the movie and then watch season 3 and be like, oh yeah, that was it. That was the thing.
Yeah, and I really had to applaud Studio Bones because they find some very legitimate and clever ways to kind of incorporate this movie and make it fun and not fucking, continuity breaking. For one, like you said earlier, this movie takes place between seasons 2 and 3 because they bring up the sports festival, but All Might is able to stay swole for hours and not minutes like in season 3. They also find a really good way for Deku to not break his fucking bones throughout this fucking movie, which is Melissa gives him a gauntlet on his arm that she's been developing, and she says, oh, this is powerful enough to take at least 3 of All Might's punches at full power. And that was a really nice touch. Plus, at the end of the movie, he doesn't have it anymore, and there's a legitimate reason for that. But, he didn't break his fucking arm, so that's great.
Yeah, he broke the machine instead of the arm, so there you go.
Also, this movie takes place over summer vacation, which in season 3, they say that summer vacation, the students can't be away for too long due to the attack from the League of Villains. So that's legitimate. Plus, David and Melissa are actually really fucking good characters.
Yeah, I think we should talk about the original characters right now.
In these movies, original characters are forgettable as fuck, but I really like David and Melissa.
So, the movie starts with Shiro and Adam. Wait, fuck. All Might and
Oh, god damn it, Emma! Fuck off.
They're literally the exact same fucking ship. I don't care.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So, it's All Might and Dave when they were in college, and they literally have just the best friendship chemistry I've seen in such a long time. Just because, like, Adam had all this cool technology and helped with making All Might's costumes. And was just kind of like a techie nerd sidekick to All Might when they were younger. And then they meet up again later in the movie, and it's the cutest fucking thing.
Yeah, we have to bring up that these two literally met because All Might saved Dave's life. And then he said, oh, you're pretty cool. Let's be friends. I'm going to fucking give you all of these upgrades, and I'm gonna turn this car into a fucking jet, and I'm also going to design all of your goddamn costumes from when you were in college to up until now. And they meet up again like all these years later on Island, and they're still really awesome, but Dave is also really super worried because he knows about All Might being weakened and All for One and things like that. So he's just like trying to find a way to have his friend become more powerful through the power of science.
You care about this. You see how much Dave really cares for All Might. Like, he calls him Toshi. That's the cutest fucking thing.
He's one of the only people who do that too, because Melissa calls him Uncle Might, while Dave just literally calls him Toshi.
It's so cute.
It is really adorable. And oh man, we had to talk about how Deku literally introduced himself to Melissa as, like, he was thinking about it, like, God, what do I call you? Izuku Midoriya? And he thinks about it, he's just like, call me Deku. And that was really fucking cute.
Yeah, I thought that was cute too, because, like, frickin' Americans don't know how Japanese names work.
Yeah, she's like full American, I believe, because she has the blonde hair and the blue eyes, and in anime that typically means American, while David, he's brown. But you see pictures in the background and her mom is like blonde.
These two characters were such good additions. I think the only flop as far as characters was the main villain, because I remember Jack Fuck.
Yeah, all I remember about the main villain is the reveal at the end, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, all I remember is that and his quirk. I remember nothing else.
Yeah, the main villain in this movie was pretty boring. Like, he's no Stain, he's no All for One, he's no Bad Touch Man. He's just kind of there. And it's like, I expected a little bit better, but it was still good enough, especially with the final fight. But these are the two original characters. They were really great. Dave and All Might have some really awesome chemistry, and the same thing can be said for Deku and Melissa, who I really hope we see Melissa again in the future. I hope she's not casted off, because she was so good in this movie, and she wasn't like downgraded. She wasn't treated as lesser because she's quirkless. But at the end of the movie, when you see the two side by side, it's like, oh man, I really want to see more of her. And there comes a point in this movie when you realize, the name of the movie, My Hero Academia, Two Heroes. The movie is, like, the two heroes is just as much Deku and Melissa as it is Deku and All Might. And I think that was just really great and a really nice touch there. So I really want to see and hear more from these two, because I don't want them to just be reduced to the obligatory filler characters. They did a really good job writing these characters.
I'm really hoping, like, either in another movie or just like an anime exclusive episode, like they have been the last couple seasons. I really hope that we just like at least hear from them again a little bit, because I love these characters so much.
I kind of hope that like we see like maybe a background picture or a phone call or a mention of her name, or maybe like she designs his costume like how Dave did for All Might.
That would be so cute.
Like maybe if the original mangaka gives his blessings, that would be awesome if he were cool enough to do that. Let's see, some other small details I really liked about this movie is Island, how the kids are able to use their quirks, which means they won't get into legal trouble for going off and using their powers to save the day.
Another thing that helps the continuity.
Yeah, plus like here's one thing I noticed, but when everybody is introduced, every like class 1A, they're almost all of them is wearing their costume except for the cameo characters. But when you see Uraka and Momo and Ida and Bakugo, everyone is wearing their goddamn hero costume.
I think that's really cute. But also the new designs, the freaking fancy ass outfits that they spend most of the movie in.
Yeah, they were really, God, the dresses the girls wore.
Those were so good.
Especially Melissa, who was really, really cute throughout this entire movie. Like, she was already adorable when she was introduced, running up to All Might, screaming Uncle Might. But there comes a point in time where when the villains attack, everybody is wearing formal wear, so they're not in their costumes and there's no time to put them on, which I thought was kind of a pretty cool contrast to how everyone is introduced in their costume. And there's like a scene where everyone is running up the stairs and all these kids are heroes. They literally train every day to have the kind of speed and endurance that they have. But Melissa, who is scientist's daughter, she's not able to keep up, but she's like, no, don't worry about me, I'm fine. I'm just gonna ditch these fucking heels and keep running.
Yeah, she kicks off the heels. I am very proud of that she spent most of the movie barefoot.
Take notes, Jurassic World, because how the fuck are you able to outrun a T-Rex at goddamn height?
Here's the thing, I have seen people run in heels, and it's not that fast, even if you can do it. So yeah, ditch the fucking heels is step one.
Exactly. And also, like, throughout the movie, the dudes, like, lose their fucking shirts, and the entire theater was like, yeah!
Literally every male character loses their shirt in a fight at some point.
Like, Todoroki burns his off, which makes tons of sense.
Todoroki, Kirishima, and Bakugo all lose it in the same fucking fight. Deku and All Might lose it at the end. I don't think Ida ripped his shirt, but he did rip his pants.
Because, like, goddamn leg engines.
I love that every time he does that, he just has to ruin his legs every time.
And, again, like, throughout this movie, characters, they kind of drop off one by one, but they have necessary uses to reach this common goal. Like, the first characters that we lose is Todoroki, Bakugo, and Kirishima, who we see again later because they're trying to hold off these bad guys. But later on, you have, like, Mineta scaling this goddamn tower, and Uraka has to break off from the group with Deku and Melissa so that they can get to the top floor. They found really good ways to use and integrate these characters, as we said earlier, but the way that they did it and how, you know, everybody came back together in the end, I thought that was really cool and just, like, really nice kind of details and foreshadowing right there.
Yeah, I do like that the characters that they used were a good balance of they can complete their mission this way and everyone is useful, but there's also enough weaknesses that there's some tension there.
For, like, the cameo characters, I honestly thought that maybe, you know, the characters that they used for cameos were probably going to step in as well, but they didn't really do that, and I'm glad that they didn't, because when everybody met up, they were like, oh, what are you doing here? I'm here for blah, blah, blah. And for the characters that were reduced to a cameo, they didn't know that their other classmates were there.
Yeah, like, it still bugs me that they were there in the first place just because that makes no fucking sense.
No, they were just there for fan service, and it was like, oh, come on, we didn't need that, bro.
Yeah, we didn't need it, but the little fan service we got, like, the hoodie Toru was wearing is more than enough for me, so to call this, like, just okay. I'm not gonna get upset about it.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking worth it just to see Toru, because in the rock, paper, scissors, there's this little joke that she has that's too good to spoil. Plus, her hoodie is goddamn adorable, and I want so much fan art of her wearing that hoodie.
It's got little barriers on it, it's so cute!
Oh god. But with that being said, are you ready to go into spoiler territory?
Yee!
Okay, so, Emma, there are so many motherfucking bamboozles at the end of this fucking movie.
We got such bamboozled.
It was okay, so, what the fuck? 'Cause it was like, oh, Dave is revealed to be the villain, but he only wanted to do this to help All Might because he really fucking cares about him and he knows he's gonna go to jail for this. But he's like, no, Toshi is my friend. We go way back. He saved my life. I did this so I could take care of him. And then all of a sudden, Dave's fucking assistant is the bad guy. And it turns out the bad guy is the bad guy. And then it turns out the bad guy is connected to All for One because, hey, remember that time the League of Villains attacked?
Oh my god.
And it's just like, what the fuck? And honestly, this happened so much and so fast, it was legitimately kind of hard to keep up. Because it was like, you're the bad guy? No, I'm not. He's the bad guy. Yes, I kind of am, but I'm also kind of not. No, I'm actually really evil. Oh my god, you mean that you're literally trying to kill us? We thought it was an act. And then all of a sudden, fucking All for One comes in, and the entire theater was like, fuck you!
Me and my boyfriend were middle fingering the screen at the shot of All for One.
There was literally a point in this movie where her boyfriend screamed out at the screen at All Might, go save your son! And the entire theater was laughing.
He was so embarrassed. It was so cute.
God damn it.
Yeah, but literally, there's just a span for 5 minutes where you have no idea who the fuck the villain is. Because there's just so many bamboozles.
And again, it happened so fucking fast that it, like, felt so unnecessary, but at the same time, you have to laugh at how fucking funny it is.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. I don't really like how All for One was, like, just kind of shoved into being part of this for no reason. But I'm glad that, like, he didn't actually just show up in the movie.
No, especially since, like, season 3. I don't want to spoil season 3 here, but, like, the villain was so weak that I was actually kind of glad that All for One was connected to this, because it was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes tons of sense. Especially since, remember, this takes place between seasons 2 and 3, and All Might and All for One deck it out in the middle of season 3.
Yeah, I do kind of appreciate the main villain a little bit more as it's just being like a pawn to an over-connecting kind of thing, and it's not just some random asshole on their own.
Again, something else that doesn't break the fucking continuity, because, like, leading up until the fight with All Might, all for One has been doing was using people as his goddamn pawns.
Exactly. Like, it works. It's just like, it seemed just a little bit like, you know, oh yeah, All for One's here.
That's totally a fucking thing.
I'm not sure how to feel about it, because, like, you know, I don't like how it was just, like, really quickly shoved in and out. Just kind of like, yeah, All for One's a thing, bye. But it would have made the villain a lot weaker if they didn't do it, so I'm a little conflicted on that.
And again, the continuity, it helps that he's there because it helps with the continuity. Because, again, this movie is really tightly written, and they really put a lot of thought into it, that it feels like another adventure instead of the obligatory anime filler movie.
Like, yeah, it doesn't feel like filler. That's the real thing about this movie, is that it doesn't feel like filler.
Another thing, the goddamn final scene was fucking beautiful.
Oh, that was gorgeous.
Okay, so, turns out that Dave, he was trying to steal back a piece of technology that he created in order to help All Might with his powers, because All Might is being weakened after this very severe accident, and Dave has been studying him and reading his levels, and he's like, bro, you're getting worse. You're gonna lose your power. And Dave doesn't want that to happen, so he develops a new piece of technology, which is just this little skeleton headset. He planned on giving it to All Might so that he could continue to be the symbol of peace, but the government took it away and banned anyone from using it because they were afraid of what would happen if this piece of tech got into the wrong hands, which, fair enough, I can see why you did that. But Dave was terrified by this because he was going to give this to the symbol of peace, and he was too scared to think of a world without, you know, that symbol. So he tries to steal this technology back, and then all of a sudden his fucking assistant, wait, hold on, we already went through this.
Yeah, we went through all this, but can we talk about something that we didn't talk about yet? How the thing that caused the most damage next to this giant flurry of smashes was just a normal fucking gun.
I know, right? A fucking gun. At the end of the movie, you literally said the most powerful quirk in this movie was a fucking gun.
It's true, because, like, the villain has, like, a really, like, strong-ass quirk of, like, what was it? It was like metal manipulation?
Yeah, he can manipulate metal, which is where the headset came to play, because he wanted to steal the headset to use on himself, which made him even more powerful. But before he did that, bitches got shot the fuck up.
Yeah, like, you never see guns in this show because everyone has a superpower. And, you know, he could have just, like, you know, stabbed him with, like, a piece of a pipe or something, or, like, manipulated the gun into a spear and killed him. But no, he just brought out a normal-ass pistol and shot 3 different people.
Like, one thing I noticed when watching these movies is that you know that shit is about to go down when there's a fucking gun. And if you know anything about Japanese laws, you would know that guns are banned, and they have been banned for generations. So whenever you, like, go to see these movies and you see a fucking gun, that's how you know that you should be fucking scared. Last year, I saw the Yu-Gi-Oh movie with my brother, and as soon as I saw a fucking gun, I was like, oh no, people gonna die.
Yeah, like, the villain shoots the assistant that basically tried to be like, oh, I'm the villain for like 0.5 seconds before I get shot. And then he was about to get shot in the head and kill him, but then freaking Dave jumps in front of the bullet and he gets shot. Like, just, why does this villain just use a gun?
Why the fuck was the assistant trying to, like, help the bad guy again? For money. It was for money, right?
Yeah, he was just trying to be the villain for like 5 seconds before he got double-crossed and bamboozled again.
And it was the fucking assistant that suggested to Dave, hey, let's steal back the technology by hiring people to act out as villains, but they're actually not gonna hurt anyone.
Like, yeah, that's gonna work out just fine.
Especially when you know that fucking All Might is weak as hell. He's like slowly, All Might gets captured with the rest of these pro heroes and they have like blue ribbons wrapped around their bodies that they can't fucking break. And he has to like try and stay swole for as long as possible when it is the evening and he's already spent several hours being swole as fuck and he's like coughing up blood and shit. Good fucking job, Dave. That was a great plan.
Hey, it worked out in the end.
It worked out in the end when the fucking bad guy used his tech and the animation got so fucking good because this fucking dude, he had his headset on and he ended up just ripping the tower apart and you see just this mountain of metal with this fucking buff-ass guy with glowing eyes at the top controlling all of this shit, trying to kill All Might, and it's fucking beautiful to look at because of the amount of fucking skill and detail in this fucking shit.
Yeah, it was so fucking cool. The only reason that, like, I didn't find it more cool is just it kept reminding me of the ending to that, that fucking Disney movie G-Force.
Oh
like,
my fucking god.
Because that's exactly what the ending was. I swear to God.
Nick Cage plays a hamster. It's so wrong that last night I watched the latest Denki video and it was just gameplay of him playing Hamtaro. In Overwatch. But anyway, can we talk about how All Might got beat the fuck up in this movie?
Oh, this poor boy.
He literally, I don't fucking know how many times he has just been crushed or about to be crushed by giant blocks of metal, but he fucking did.
Literally just giant, like, just cubes of metal smashing into him multiple times. This poor bitch.
And all during the same time, he has to remain swole, even though he's literally vomiting fucking blood.
Yeah, that was fucking... I think that was one of the most brutal, like, All Might blood spurting scenes in the entire show.
Yeah, because the camera is literally right under him as he's trying to hold back this giant fucking pillar of metal that's trying to crush him. And he literally coughs of blood on the camera, and the entire theater was like, no!
Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah, because, like, All Might is best dad, you don't want to see him fucking hurt anymore than he already has been. Because you have to remember, this movie aired the same time season 3 was airing in Japan.
Ooh.
So, like, by the time people have seen this movie, they were coming off of some of the most emotional fucking shit with All Might. So now you have to suffer even more before, like, he starts to suffer in season 3 and is weak as fuck.
Oof.
F.
Just spamming F.
It doesn't really last for long because Deku finally gets the fuck up and we have the hypest fucking fight in My Hero Academia so far.
Yeah, like, this is the only time where they fucking, like, throwed punches at the exact same time. Okay? That was the hypest shit.
Yeah, and the animation is fucking beautiful. It's fast and fluid, and there were already some really great Sakuga scenes in this movie, but they really went all out with the final fight because All Might and Deku, it's not just like a teammate or a partnership. They're literally in perfect sync with each other. And you can just tell just how connected these two are before, you know, you see all of this shit in season 3. But they don't have to say anything. They don't have to do anything. They just rush and they have this common goal of, you know, saving everyone on this island and taking down the bad guy. And it all leads up to this giant double Detroit smash, which is just the hypest, most beautiful shit we've ever seen in our goddamn lives.
Yeah, like, at the beginning of the movie, All Might actually said, like, they're bound by something stronger than blood. And it's just like, that's so good.
I guess hair is thicker than blood then.
Eat this.
Young Midoriya, do you remember what I said to you that day on the beach? Eat this! No! God damn it. Fucking Deku. Yeah, no, at the end of the movie, like, once they perform the double Detroit Smash, there's this scene where Dave is looking up at the sky and he sees young All Might, like how we saw at the beginning of the movie, because the movie is literally introduced with young All Might in America performing this smash. And he looks up at the sky and he sees All Might back in America, and it fades away to fucking Deku with the same exact position, and the entire theater just fucking cheered.
It was so good.
It was really hype. It was hype as hell. It was really good. It's worth seeing this movie just for that final fight alone.
Yeah, like I'd say the last 20 minutes or so are the best.
Any other spoilers you have in mind?
Other than the fact that literally, the scene where Dave and All Might first meet, and, like, he saves him from the building, and his shirt just falls open to reveal his tits, and they both just stare at him. That was so fucking funny.
There are some really good fucking jokes in this movie. There's not a lot. I honestly can't remember a lot of them because this movie was really action-packed, but there were some pretty good jokes in here. Like, when the movie opens and we're in America, there's literally a hero that's a goddamn cowgirl.
Oh yeah, and the fucking Godzilla hero had everyone laughing their asses off.
Oh my fucking god, the Godzilla hero!
There's a hero that's literally just Godzilla. And it was the funniest thing.
I was not expecting that. I can't believe I forget about fucking Godzilla hero.
And there's also, like, the little obstacle course thing where, like, Todoroki just destroyed Bakugo's record, and he got so mad.
He literally just froze the entire fucking course, and he beat Bakugo by 1 second.
And when Bakugo and Kirishima just got lost for no fucking reason.
They literally, like, okay, when you see them again after they get lost, they're on a floor higher than what they were on before. And they, like, literally get called out, like, you were trying to find a banquet hall and you went several stories up? How's the fuck?
They found the rest of the characters on the 80th floor, and they were still lost.
If only one of you didn't leave your fucking cell phone in the goddamn hotel room.
Also, just all the Bakushima moments in this movie were so fucking beautiful.
Also, Bakugo's fucking suit has flowers on it.
Fucking Kirishima brought that for him.
The fucking irony of having this fucking piece of shit wear a suit with goddamn flowers on the side. That was awesome.
The fact that Kirishima took that suit and was like, okay, in case Bakugo doesn't bring anything formal, which he probably won't, he can wear this with all the fucking roses on it.
They did the same thing with Uraka and Jiro because Momo let them borrow her dress. And Uraka was so goddamn adorable because, you know, she's poor as fuck. So she can't fucking afford dresses. And yeah, Momo's like, here you go.
Let Ochako feel like a princess.
In season 3 with the dorm room episode, you see her room and you see Momo's room. Uraka's just constantly fucking fading. Like, what is your life?
Yeah, she's just like, this is as big as my house.
This room is as big as my closet, but I guess I'll make do. What the fuck?
I love her so much.
She is adorable in this movie, and I want her to feel like a pretty princess. That's like why I can't wait until this show ends, because I want to see Uraka's future where she actually has money and she's able to take care of her family.
Yes!
Like, remember season 1 where she was talking about, oh, well, this is embarrassing, but I want to be a hero because my family's really poor and I want to take care of them. And Ida's like, what's wrong with getting a job just to make money?
Exactly, that's a noble cause.
She just wants to take care of her family, and you see how much she cares about them in season fucking 2, where we got that fucking Oscar-worthy performance out of her, and I almost sobbed like a bitch.
Mm.
Oh wait, we forgot to mention that we saw this for the first time ever. We watched this in Japanese.
Ironically, while the rest of the show takes place in Japan and we watch it in English, this was in America and we watched it in Japanese.
We watched this movie in sub instead of dub, unfortunately. That was largely my fault because I convinced everyone we were going to see the dub.
Here's the thing, like, that was the only day we could have made it regardless if it was sub or dub.
Yeah, so we really can't complain, but...
Well, also, just going to a theater and everyone was cracking jokes every 5 seconds, so, like, aside from, like, the really heavy portions where, like, it was mostly just plot, you wouldn't have been able to actually hear the dialogue. Like, I'm definitely going to rewatch this when it's dubbed, but for the theater experience, I'm glad we had it subbed.
Yeah, but I kind of regret seeing this movie in sub because this is my first time ever seeing My Hero Academia in Japanese. And I was surprised at how it wasn't jarring, the switch between English and Japanese, because I only watched the show in English. But when you combine the theater-going experience with a bunch of nerds and how hyped this movie was, I think, like, my full experience could have been completed with the English dub and the English voice actors, not to knock the Japanese, because the Japanese voice actors did really good, but I think Hiro Aka is really rounded out with the English voices. All Might is not the fucking same without Chris Sabat. The same can be said for Ida, who sounded incredibly different without Tatum, and Bakugo and Shoto, who sound really... It sounds like some of these characters have less of a personality without their English voice actors, because from the beginning you could tell that many of these voice actors are giving 110%, and as the show went on, like, the voice actors are still giving it their all, but they're doing so much better as the show goes on because they're putting even more work and effort into this, and some of these voice actors have really grown into these characters, so it just doesn't feel the same without many of the voice actors who I know a lot of these characters by with their English voices, especially, once again, All Might, who Chris Sabat is just the embodiment of fucking All Might.
Yeah, I do agree, but it's not like this movie wasn't dubbed and, like,
No.
sub was the only option. The dub exists, it's just that we
The
didn't
dub
get to
was in theaters.
We just didn't get to see the dub in theaters because we just didn't get to it fast enough, really. And that's partly our own fault, but we can still watch the dub later. Of course we can.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, that, like, it would have been better to see it in theaters, but I think the pros of subtitles, and I've actually been reading online, a few of the lines that I really liked were sub only, so I'm actually okay with that we saw it in sub, even though I do prefer the dub way better.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to try and get this movie on Blu-ray, and I'm definitely going to rewatch it in English, because the hero, for me, the show isn't complete without the dub. Again, not to knock the Japanese voice actors, they did a perfectly fine job, but for me personally, Hiro Aka just isn't the same without the English dub and the English voice actors.
I do understand that. Just, like, it wasn't that much of a problem for me, mostly because of how loud the theater was and a few lines. Like, I should give an example. At one point, when Dave and All Might meet up again, he says, I wish you hadn't left America. Apparently in the dub, it's totally different.
What did they say?
Apparently it was like America needs you or something. Like, saying that he didn't want to leave, that hurt me. It was so cute.
Ah, jeez. Really? That would have been... That sounded like a good line in the original Japanese.
And fuck, this is like Shaddam 2.0, but better.
God damn it. Yeah, because one of them doesn't fucking die.
And also the fandom isn't full of entitled 12-year-olds. Oh boy!
True. True, very true. We'll save it for the coffee break.
Also, that season 8 is gonna be fun.
I feel so bad for the Voltron cast and crew.
I do too.
I can't wait for this fucking show to end so they can all get a fucking break.
Yeah, hopefully no one gets harassed during New York Comic Con, and we'll talk about the highlights of that in the coffee break episode.
Speaking of coffee break, do you have any other spoilers or anything else you want to add to this movie?
Nothing really, just like, the movie is good, don't judge it on it just being an anime filler movie. It is much higher standard than most, and I would very highly suggest watching it.
Yeah, same here. This is a really good movie, a surprisingly well done movie. They put a lot of work and effort into how to incorporate the young heroes and how to not get them in trouble, and how Deku doesn't break his fucking arms, and they really do their best to tie it into the main story, and I think that's really important, seeing how the main story is still ongoing and season 4 is airing next fucking year, which, did I say, who the fuck is surprised? But it is well worth seeing, and I do think it is well worth checking out, especially if you watch it in order. So, like, seasons 1, 2, then you watch this movie, and then season 3. So, it's a really good movie. I recommend it. I don't think it's something that should be skipped because of the amount of work and effort that went into it. And yeah, just like go check it out, because when it comes out on Blu-ray, if you missed it, because I know a lot of people did, but it's well worth watching.
Yeah, like, sorry we didn't get to this before when it was still in theaters, but, you know, it'll be around soon enough.
We saw it on the last fucking day, sorry. But that being said, there's not gonna be a podcast episode this week, because I'm busy making a ton of videos. And although the next podcast episode is supposed to be a coffee break, season 3 of My Hero Academia is over. So we're going to talk about season 3 instead, and then we're going to do a coffee break. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Alright, see you guys.
Go see the movie. It's really fucking good.